to introduce to Greg Frady.
How's everybody doing?
Very good.
So I am getting this ethics award, and I'm going to be talking about ethics today. And I never tried to get an ethics award. I don't even really consider myself to be a person that should be considered for an ethics award. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure the EBCA knows about all my umpire situations that I've been coaching with for years, and so all that goes on with that. But I'm going to talk about today why I'm here and to help Tom. Hey, John. And even before I get started, I want to say how great have the speakers been coming through this meeting so far. It's just been a really big honor. But I'm getting this award, and so with that comes responsibility. So Tom asked me to come talk about this. The reason that I'm here is because the Georgia Dugout Club in Atlanta, Georgia, state of Georgia, basically sponsored me to be here. 9 years ago, I started the award in our home state club, the Ethics Award, and I think it was the first time outside the EBCA that any organization recognized a member from their community and doing things not only in an ethical way.
They can't see that.
No problem. Hey, and can everybody hear me in the back there? We had a couple of issues. I'm a pretty loud talker, so I'll try to project that. So anyway, we started the award in Georgia about 9 years ago. And it's been really a great thing because what's happened is it has brought light to a good coach who's doing a good job in their community. And as coaches, we should be promoting and recognizing each other. That's how we promote that. You know, a good word for a coach really goes a long way. So what I'm going to do today is talk about ethics a little bit, and then talk about leadership and how leadership affects you as a coach. And let me tell you what I have in common with you. I actually coached in Europe. I've been here, I lived here, I lived in society here in Germany. I was a Mines athletics coach in 2004. Yes, 2004. Yes, 2004. I was a Mines athletic coach, and then I wound up staying with the German team, coaching at a national team level for 11 years. In this room, and in this clinic, two really special players, the Orange Schonlau, which is right back here for the Platform Untouchables, and Dirk Freaks, which is out there doing registration, and two of my former players. And as a coach, I think nothing makes you happier than seeing your former players rise up and become really good men, good fathers. Both of these men just had babies recently. And I think that the impact that playing on our team and what the values of the team meant for them should help them be better men, better fathers. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Most important person that influences my life right now is my wife, Rhonda. And I have stood up and talked and forgot to mention my wife more times than you could ever know, and I've messed that up. So thank you for your patience. Earlier we said how great your dog was. I got to make sure I want everybody to know how great my wife is. I got that out of the way right there. So I'm good. By the way, we got a dog too. We got a son. He's 24 years old, and he had a puppy. It's a big lab, 100-pound lab, and then he's now living in China, and guess who has the lab? Me and his mom, so we know this. All right, so ethics. Let's talk about ethics a little bit, and then I'm going to transition that into leadership, which I'm going to give you some things that have really worked for me that can help you be a better coach, a better teacher, a better person, a better example, and we'll see. By no means am I the authority, and by no means do I have all the answers, because I don't. And every day as a coach and as a person and as a teacher, it's trial and error. What maybe worked yesterday may not work today. The game of baseball and life is ever evolving, and it takes new skills and new sets of ideas to continue to communicate with different people. And I think there's been some even conversation about every year how a new team changes from last year and a new culture emerges. So leadership is important. Some things, some values, some things are going to withstand the test of time. And while analytics, and there's always a lot of talk about analytics and the math and the information and the stats, I will always believe the most important element is the human element. And we'll talk about how leadership goes. All right, so in the Ethics and Professional Coaching Award, it's up there. This is read at the Georgia Dugout Club. And now the Georgia Dugout Club, I told you, sponsored me to come here. because they want this word spread internationally. The EBCA wants it spread internationally, so this is why I'm here. I've always believed that we as coaches stand as strong leaders within our teams and communities. Our players will be the next generation of our great game. More importantly, they will be the caretakers of our families, communities, and great game. With this comes great responsibility. The present and future well-being of our society depends on men and women of high character who will demonstrate and live out the virtues of honesty, integrity, respect, and personal responsibility. Recognizing that these and all other ethical values do not develop automatically in our players. We as coaches should make a deliberate and conscious effort to assist them in developing the values and ideas necessary for moral decisions and conduct. The single most important variable in promoting ethical conduct on the baseball field is the coach. Our commitment to professionalism, moral conduct, and high ethical standards are a must for our young people as we prepare them for real life. We know that the great baseball game is just a small part of what we do for our players. We all share the dream of being a baseball coach, and we know that this comes with great responsibility. Let's continue to encourage each other to be the best that we can be. The purpose of this speech is to promote the best interest of the game of baseball, our coaching profession, and to share ideas worldwide. It seeks to define what is right in the daily life of a coach as he puts into practice this daily practice. Helping to promote coaches in Georgia, in the United States, in Europe, and worldwide is an important aspect that all of us should share that responsibility together. So certainly, reading this, I want you to know that this was the message that I wanted to deliver to you, and I was asked to deliver, and it's important. Today, we're dealing with, in our society, I think worldwide, but particularly in the United States, we're dealing with a respect issue different than any other time that I can remember as a coach. People have less patience and less respect for each other than at any time. And certainly, I'm a fiery guy, and I'm competitive. I think you're competitive and fiery. That's something we share together as baseball men and women, for that matter, about how we go about our game. But I've always come back to respecting the other coach, respecting the other team, respecting the umpires. I may not agree, and I may be in the heat of the moment in a position where I disagree, but I always try to have respect for that. And I think I have so many friends in this room and so many people that I respect in this room that if I had a difference with someone, I immediately went to that person and said, I see this differently. How do you see this? Let's work together to resolve our issues. That's always worked for me. So communication was important. I'm going to talk to you now about building leadership through respect. And that was the ethical part of this. And this is how I see it as a coach. I've been coaching for 32 years. And I've publicly spoke to a lot of different types of groups, and probably the toughest one, I'll come back to it a little bit later, was last year in August, I was invited to Fort Benton, Georgia, to speak to the United States Army and to their officers. There was 500 people in the room, officers only, and my job was to deliver a message about how to function, particularly in this society dealing with younger people. So I'll come back and talk about that later. So it was a tough. So leadership, what is leadership? To me, leadership comes down to three things. It's really a simplistic idea of you should listen and look to gain information and to collect information. 2, you should you have the ability to make a good decision. And number 3, you should got to get people on board with you to follow your direction. If you're not collecting the right information, you're not going to make a good decision. If you don't make a good decision, you're not going to get people to follow you. If you're not getting people to follow you and not making good decisions, you're not going to stay in a leadership position very long. What I'm saying about this particular aspect is be open-minded. One of the things I found very necessary here in Europe and in Germany, which is necessary wherever you are in the world, is flexibility. Because every situation is a brand new experience. Be flexible. Talk with the person that you're having. Work yourself into making a good decision. Integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing. I think we as coaches and people know what the right thing is. Sometimes it's hard to know what the right thing is depending on the situation, but let your gut feeling morally guide you. Be honest and be true to yourself. I cannot encourage you more to be honest with people. Players particularly, can see right through you immediately when you're not honest with them and you're a fake. Be true to yourself. If you want someone to respect you, treat them with respect and dignity. That always starts with an honest communication. What do we professional coaches have in common? These are things that I think professional coaches really have in common. You project confidence. I want you to think about the best leaders you've ever been around, and did they project a strength and a confidence around them and an aura to say, hey, I know what I'm doing, and I want you to follow me. Now, not an arrogance or a shallow talk, but just a confidence. They project confidence and project confidence. How many times, I can only tell you how many times I've gone into a situation and said, whoa, I have no idea what's about to go down. But people around me are looking at that too. So I need to go in there with some strength to get my head up, listen, learn, collect the information, make a good decision, and then get people on board with that decision based on the facts that I can put together right there. Dress professionally. People respect you when you're a professional. Professional comes in different ways, but one of the ways you can be professional is how you dress. For instance, when you go to practice, make practice an important part. You don't have to be totally dressed like you're going into a game, but be dressed professionally. If you want people to respect you, and your appearance and how you conduct yourself and how you carry yourself is very important. For instance, when you go into a game, take an extra time to make sure that you clean your shoes. Look professionally. Make sure that you look the part. Because people want to be represented in a very professional way. And players are always looking at that. And trust me, not only are players looking at that, umpires are looking at that. Not only are umpires looking at that, but the technical commission people and people that are running the tournament look at that. So if you have an issue, they're going to come right to the person that they feel is the most professional, and that person will get the leeway, and that person will get the extra benefit. Communicate with people. Communication is probably the single most important human element that we can have. And let me tell you, I look at communication like this. As I meet a new person, I know I need to give to that relationship more than I expect to get back. And when I look at that person, I'm looking at that person like, I have no expectation of what's going to happen, but I'm willing to build from the ground floor up, and I'm willing to give my time. I think it's important that we've got Brett Strom here with us. Literally 10 days ago, he's in the MLB World Series. And right now, he's here with us teaching you, and any of you can walk right up to him and have a conversation. That is an incredible thing. And he's willing to communicate with you. I think he shows a willingness to help our game and grow our game. My question to you is, are you willing? Because at some point in your life, to someone that's in your life concerning baseball, you are at the same level that he is maybe to us, seeing that. You're the authority. Handle yourself with respect and professionalism, and be willing to put yourself out there and communicate. Be prepared beforehand. You know, winging it, going from the seat of your pants can only go so far. People can see that too. Be prepared. Players respect that. Players respect you coming to practice prepared. They respect that you know them, and I'll talk about that coming up. Present your information in a timely manner. For instance, because I have the information, it may not be received by the party you're delivering that to until you hit the right time. And as you get into coaching more and more, you'll get more experiences and more time and handling different situations, and you'll understand when the right time to talk about something and when maybe the time is not right to talk about something. I think we as coaches all get excited about having some things, and we maybe deliver that at different times, but be prepared for that. Be on time. I think we all have rules that we are trying to incorporate into our players, but we have to be the example. So I challenge you to be the example. If you want your players to be on time, you be on time. So what does you being on time mean? So let's say practice starts at 4 p.m. As a coach, your time is never 4 p.m. Your time is to be one of the first, if not the first one there. And then as the players come into the gate or come into the field, you say, shake your hand, how you doing, glad you're here, really looking forward to this. Or you may have a pre-practice where you have 5 players there and you're working with them, but you talk to them every day. I want you to remember that the people that you coach are human beings. From the time you saw them last to the time you see them today, a lot is probably going on in their life. Some good, some bad, but all situations. Coming to the baseball field ought to bring a smile to any person's face. And remember, you want to have fun. So when that person walks in that gate, make sure that you understand that they know they're coming to the park and they're looking forward to coming. When I started in Mines in 2004, one of the things the club told me was, really need to be prepared. A lot of players have university problems. They can't come to practice. A lot of players have real life jobs and they can't get off maybe and come to practice. There may be some transportation issues. There just may be some things. So in my first practice, I said to the players, hey, I sure hope we have a great year, and I'm going to really work hard to try to put us in the best position to win a championship. And I want you to do the same. Practice is very important. It helps us prepare for our opponent that we're going to play and get the information. But this is what I want you to know. If you can't come to practice, don't worry about it. Don't even be concerned. Because if you have to work, or you have to go to university, or things happen and you can't come to practice, don't worry about it. Now, if you can't come to practice and I decide to play another player on the weekend, then you have to understand what's happening too. That player put the time, effort, and work. But I'm coaching talent now, so if your talent's better than the guy that's working hard in the middle of the week and gives us a better chance to win, this is my dilemma, my problem, but I'll figure it out. So there's no pressure about coming. So in the first 2 practices, I probably had 3, 4, 5 guys that didn't make it in the first week. By week 3, I never had another player basically miss practice. They came on their own. There was no, I didn't say, mandatory you be here or I'm kicking your ass off the team. Immediately that's like, whoa, who is this guy? So I showed the players that I did care, I did have an understanding, and I had a flexibility. But if you want to be good at what you do, you got to put your time, effort, energy into it. Make sure that you come early and you stay late. One of those things that I've noticed about coaching through the years is when I deliver information to a larger group, a lot of times that information just gets spread out and the message sometimes gets lost to a bigger group. But when I deliver the same message to a smaller group, then the message is really retained and people really feel like it's a one-on-one or more of an individual small group setting where they're going to be able to better feel like they're part of the team, they're part of the direction, and that they're getting better, and I value what they have. So what I try to do, and I would encourage you, is if your job will allow that, and you have the time to do it, and you want to invest into your profession and then into your team, have an early practice and have a late practice. Have about 4 players early and 4 players late. So let's say that a player has a really difficult schedule and he can't be there early. Well, you're not going to schedule early practice with him, but maybe you schedule the late practice, and maybe someone has night classes that can come early. Work with your players, know their schedule. Continually talk with them and say, hey, I really want to work with you. I like what we've got going on, but we need to have some double play work with our middle infielders. So we had a feel for where you want the ball on a double play turn. And then I want our shortstop to be able to see how and what the options are of how you can make a feed at second base. We want to be on the same page. We want to be able to communicate with each other. We want to work with that. And I want you to know, as a shortstop, in what part of the infield when the ball is hit to our second baseman, how he's going to make the feed and what he's going to look like from that so you're comfortable in the game. So what time can you be here? Because I want to work with you. I'm excited about seeing you develop, and I'm excited about making sure that we're on the same page. And then immediately, at that point, the player is engaged and involved and feels like they're part of the organization right there. You need to make yourself available to everyone. And while you are the authority and you are the coach and people know that, just let that be. Just let it be. You don't have to tell anybody you're in charge. You don't have to project yourself as like, I'm the authority. Just be part of the organization. As you do that, then the karma of coaching somewhat comes to you versus you having to go out and tell everybody. So I've spoken at a lot of these events, and people always say, send your bio so we can tell everybody what your bio is. And this is what I always send back. Here is my bio. Greg Frady, Atlanta, Georgia, won some, lost some, still trying damn hard. That's it. That's all you need to know about me, because every day I got to get up and start again to be the best version of myself that I can be, because people count on that. To bring the energy, to bring the enthusiasm, to bring the positivity, to be the leader. And even when I'm beat down and I feel like I just want to cry, I still need to get my head up and remember I'm the leader. And the attitude within my team and my organization depends on my strength that I'm projecting and the image I'm projecting. You have got to hold people accountable when they're not doing well or they're not doing what's good. And how can you do that? I personally feel like everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has moments. Everybody has things that they don't want. So I'm going to tell you a quick story. I'm coaching the German team. We're in Prince George, British Columbia. I never have any issues with the German team. They're always on time. They're enthusiastic. They want to learn. They play their hearts out. They want to represent the country and Europe in the best possible way. And yes, we lose some, then we win some. But on this particular tournament, I have one of my players that's on the team is having an issue with his girlfriend back home. So he's a little bit down in the dumps. But he doesn't want her to think that he's beaten up a little bit mentally. So he's going to project this image of strength. So he goes on Facebook at the time and posts where the German teams here in Prince George, we're having a great time. We're drinking a lot of beer. We're chasing a lot of women. It's just a big party. And so immediately, one of my coaches comes and tells me, and then immediately I talk to a couple of guys on the team. Yes, that's happened. So immediately, call a player in and say, okay, all right, what's going on? Because you know this ain't happening. We're not drinking beer and chasing women. We're here on business. It's a business trip. We're excited to play baseball to represent Germany worldwide. What's going on? Immediately, really gets choked up a little bit emotionally, and says, well, my girlfriend broke up with me, and I don't want her to think that I'm down in the dumps and whatever. And I said, well, I understand that. However, you're affecting our brand. You're affecting our image. You're affecting what other people see. You send the message back to Germany, this isn't a serious situation. We're in the early stages of building something that people can be proud of, and you are off base, completely false in who you are and what's happening. Instead of projecting strength, no wonder she wants to break up with you. I said, oh, I'm really sorry. And I said, well, I know that you are, but tonight we're playing the USA national team, and you're not going to the game. You're not going to dress out. You don't have the privilege of being on the team, and you're staying here at the dormitory, and then you can listen to the game on the radio. He said, Coach, I mean, this is the USA team. I've dreamed about this all my life. And I said, well, I'm sorry, but for our team and what it means to our team, the people that do it right are going to be rewarded, and people that are not going to do it right, a clear message is going to be said, this is not going to happen. Now, I love you. And I'm happy for you that you're on the team, and I want you to be on the team, and you're an integral part of the team. But starting tomorrow, you can earn your way back on the team. You give me an attitude tonight, there will be no tomorrow. No problem. I'm good. Stay there. And that night, we beat the USA national team. And it was a painful night for him. Starting the next morning, there was no issues again for the rest of that time. This was a really, really good player, and he really helped us. And I have a lot of respect for him, but he made a mistake. And my job as coach, and your job as a coach, is to handle situations, take them on, be caring, be understanding, but handle it. And I know everybody back there like, who is this he's talking about? It's Marty Hall, if you want to know that. And when Marty was young and coming up, and I know a lot of you guys are dealing with this, at 14 years old, he was the best player in his area and was very hard to coach and stubborn and was immature and the whole deal. And as he's come on now, Marty has 2 children. He is an absolute model of being a great citizen. He's a great dad. He's a great husband. He went to college in the United States and was an All-American and just a great guy. And he'd be a guy you absolutely would want on your staff now to help teach other young guys. And so there's an example of how that can work right there. Positive behavior and creating energy. So I think we as coaches always want energy around us, right? Don't you want players that's got a positive attitude, that's got a good energy, and let's go, we're going to get them together? Well, where does that start? That starts with you. It doesn't start with the players. So don't show up and say, well, this is what I need from you. Get there early and project that and say, let's go, shake some hands, pass some backs, let's get some fungos going. Let me hit you some balls in the outfield. Let's go out and work on a drill. Let's get there early and let's get some drills going, or let's get your bullpens going. Work with your players and create that energy. There's no substitute for positive behavior. Negative behavior rob and steal any goodness that you have as a baseball coach and as an organization. And let me tell you, you can say to me, well, how do you stop negativity? Well, the best way to stop it is never let it get started. Be positive from the beginning, and that's on you. And I tell you, that's something that I constantly put my own self in check about all the time. Am I bringing enough energy? Am I setting a positive example, but at the same time being true to myself and helping hold my team accountable? Means living at a higher standard. Every one of us like coaching and like helping people, but that comes with a price, because people hold their coaches accountable and they hold them to a higher standard. That means your decision and how you live your life and your decisions that you make has to be in a position where you got to make the right decision. That you can't compromise who you are as a coach. So you may really like to do some things, but in a public image that may not work anymore if you want the respect from your community and your players. All right, what players want? Let me tell you what players want in my experience. All right, what players want? They want to know that you care. I think everybody in the room would say, well, sure I care. But how are you showing that you care? The best way to show that you care is to build a relationship. Now, I've already told you from my perspective, when I'm building a relationship, I go into every relationship thinking, I'm probably not going to get much in return in this relationship I'm building, but I'm not doing that because I need something in return. I'm doing it because I want to do it. How do you build a relationship? Well, you talk and get to know that person. Is that person married? Who are they dating? Do they have children? Do they have a dog? What do they like to do outside of playing baseball? You get to know that person. Do they have brothers? Do they have sisters? Who's coming to the game to watch them play? What are their names? Can I meet your parents? Can I meet your girlfriend? Get to know those people. Take time to do that. Well, this is so simple, right? I'm just giving you these basic things, but how many people actually put this into practice? I hope you do. I hope everybody in the room does, because this is how you let your players know that you care.
It's a big mistake. Huge mistake.
To have knowledge is important. What is knowledge? Knowledge is a collection of information that you have. That's great. And your players need to know that you're knowledgeable. Players want to know, do you have knowledge? Why do they want to know, do you have knowledge? Because let me tell you what the players want from you. They just want to know, can you make them better? That's what they want to know. They don't care that you wrote a bull 3 years ago. They don't care. They just want to know, how are you going to help me get better? Are you invested in me? Do you care about me? And do you have knowledge? And the knowledge that you have, how are you going to take what you have and help me be a better player? That's what they want to know. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but the difference between knowledge and wisdom is knowledge means you have the information. Wisdom means you know how to distribute the information and how to talk to that player about what you have. That's a big difference between having knowledge and having wisdom. Players just want to know, are you working with them to promote them and help them move up in the game? How many people in Europe have players that would like to be in the MLB systems? Who would like to sign? Everybody can raise their hand in here. Every kid that I've ever coached is like, one of the questions at some point, do you think I got a shot? And my comment is, never, no, you don't have a shot. Because that's reality. You're 5'3" and you weigh 105 pounds and you're not a good player. My comment is, that's not my decision, do you have a shot? That's MLB's scouting department. That's MLB's decision, the people that come. My position is, let's work really hard so that when you have that one magical moment when someone's there to see you, you're in the best position you can be in to showcase what you can do, then let's let someone else make that determination. So don't kill a kid's dream with too much honesty. Don't lie to him, but shift the focus back to what he can control and what you can control, and keep the attitude and the focus going forward. That's really huge in helping those guys. Players want to know, do you respect them? What does that mean? Now, of course you respect a human being, but players want to know, do you respect them? So how do you know that you're projecting strength through expectation and respect? Is to say, hey, you're playing third base tomorrow at 3. I want to give you the information as far in advance as I can so that you can prepare and show up ready to play. You've worked really hard for this. I'm excited for your opportunity. Be ready to go. Well, anytime a new player gets an opportunity to play third base, guess what? The third baseman's getting an opportunity to sit on the bench. So the third baseman, hey, you really been struggling? I want to give you a chance to get away from the game for just a moment. I think you've got so much internal pressure on yourself that you need to see the game from a different perspective. Let's alleviate some of your pressure. And tomorrow, this person's going to play third base. But going into it, I want you to know what's going to happen so you're not surprised when you get here. Does that mean we've given up? Absolutely not. This means it's a starting point of reinventing yourself to get better at what you do. These are the things that you need to improve on. Tomorrow, get here early. Let's me and you go to work to make sure that you're ready, because by the third inning, you may be in the game. After one pitch in the first inning, the third baseman that's there now may break his leg and you may be back in the game. Your mind, your attitude, your position, your strength, your confidence are all in play right now so that you project yourself as a great team guy who shows leadership. And I need that from you. Well, I just took a guy out and set him on the bench and he feels like $1 million in this moment. Like, I still am needed on the team. This is management of a team and how you respect people. For instance, I'm going to play a new guy at third base, but the third baseman shows up and he sees the lineup and he's not in there, and he's like, what is happening? But there's no communication, there's no respect. So the guy goes and sits on the bench and he's sitting there tying his shoes thinking, I've busted my butt, I've given to this organization every single day, I played third base, and I can't even get enough respect from my coach to let me know what's going on. Give your coach, your players, the respect that they want. In the meantime, how you carry yourself and the respect will come back from them. However, don't go into any relationship thinking you're going to get as much back or more back than you're giving. You're always giving more than you're getting. That's always your position as coach. Players want less talk and more action. They want less talk and more action. You know, what you have to say is important. So here's how I like to coach, and this is what I do. At the beginning of practice, when they're fresh and they're there, they're more receptive to a little more listening. As the practice goes on, say less and do more. And say nothing and do more by the end of the day. And so get your teaching done in the early part of the day, and then get your players in action. If you really want your players to improve, get them some reps physically. That's how they're going to improve. And then give them some positive feedback, and they're going to be like, yeah, I want to get some more of that. So that's how you do it. We're living in a time where we got to promote our players. And how do you promote players today? How do you do that? How about social media? Is that how players function right now? Players function social media. Here's a story. It's a real story. I can't believe I'm going to tell this story. I'm going to be 57 years old in a month. I'm an old guy. I'm old school, if you will. About a year and a half ago, I'm at my home. I'm sitting in my comfy chair, watching some MLB on TV, feeling pretty good. It's about 11 p.m. at night, so it's pretty late at night. I'm just sitting there, and my phone goes off, and I look down, and I have a message from one of my players, our second baseman. And it says, Coach, are you up? I need to talk with you, or I need you right now. Well, what's your thought as a coach at that moment? He's sick, he's in jail, something's happened to his family, it's like your mind's racing. So I hit him right back and say, are you okay? Right back, no, I'm not okay. I'm really down, I need you right now. Hit him right back. What's happening? There's a lot of people on social media doubting me right now, saying I'm not a good player, saying I'm not a player that to be watched. I'm not even strong in our organization. I might not even be able to make an impact. Can you go on Twitter and write something about me so that this people out there know that I'm a good player? I look at my phone and think to myself, has he lost his mind? And then on top of that, I'm thinking, have I lost my mind? Put my phone down and go back and regroup and say, am I going to be old and stubborn? Or am I going to really relate to my player who's asking me at a really critical moment for him for support? And then how am I going to do this going forward? Is the game going to pass me by? Or am I going to continue to try to really relate to what's going on? Well, pretty much everything in my body said, don't do it. But in the last, go right to Twitter and say, at Kendall Ford, really like what he's going on, like his attitude, love his heart, love his work ethic. Look out in the spring for a player to watch. Bang. Hashtag boom, boom, boom. Hashtag boom, boom, boom. Within a matter of moments, my phone is on fire. Like. Within a matter of 5 moments, Kendall Ford texted me back and said, oh my God, thank you, Coach. This is exactly what I need. I'll see you tomorrow. I bust my butt with that guy every single day, and he never one time said, oh my God, Coach, thank you so much. This is exactly what I need. But on 5 seconds of a social media tweet, it reached him. So I'm not sure I was effective or not effective as a coach, but I tried to get out of my comfort zone and see the player for what was important to them and do that. Get out of your comfort zone. Okay? Tom's pointing ends are fine. All right. What your organization wants. You're working for a club. You're working for someone. If you're a coach, you got a boss. We all got bosses. Even bosses have bosses. Bosses have boards. Boards have owners. Boards have stockholders. On and on. Everybody's got a boss, right? This is what? They want you to listen. Your club says, we need you to do this, and you say, no, I don't do that. Go into that and try to think in a bigger scope and say, why did they ask me to do that? And I need to listen, and I'm trying to be a better coach because of that, and try to have communication about that and understanding. Implement the group plan for the short term and the long term. Work on some short-term goals and things that the players can relate to. Have some fun with it. Be competitive at practice. But always maintain that long-term goal of what you're trying to accomplish as a team. What are my long-term goals? These are my long-term goals. Not to win any championship. Of course I want to win the championship. But my long-term goals is for us to respect each other, for us to have an organization where we care about each other, to have an organization where we communicate with each other, where we can rely on each other, where we can project to the world that we have a strength, and when something bad happens to us, it does not deter us, because bad things are going to happen to you, and how you handle it is more important than having a bad thing. So keep your mind in the right place. Market and brand your logo to the community. This is so important in our world today. Every organization has a logo. Really value that logo, work to promote that logo, get out in the community and do that. Have a presence on social media. Make sure that you take a moment. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I can't believe I'm on any of those 3 things. But I know as a coach, I need to be promoting my players, I need to promote my brand, I need to promote my message, and I need the world to see that, because that's how the world's doing business today. And I can either get on board with how business is being done, or my business is going to go out of business. Think about it like that. Interact with fans that gain interest. How many of you take a moment to go out and shake a few hands with some fans that came to the game and say, hey man, great seeing you, thanks for coming, really love you being here, you really made a difference for us. You're playing a vital role in our success, thank you for doing that. Now at different levels, it's a lot harder to do. Maybe Brent Strom can't go out in the stands at Houston with the Astros, but I know I sure can, because I'm not working for the Astros. I'm working for different clubs, and I value the people that support us and come to us, that give us money, that take their time, that are there. Because you know what your players want? They want to see fannies in the seats in the stands, and they want to hear the roar when they do something good. You want to make a player excited? Get a big game, get a big group, and hear the roar. That's what they like, right there. Manage players on and off the field. And then your organization wants you to win and win championships. Has everybody got that? But the problem is, you can't go from zero straight to win and win championships. It's a process. It's a process. Control the things that you can control, and don't try to control the things that you can't control. And you know what you need to tell your players? Control the things you can control, and let the things go. Let the noise from the outside roll off you, because they can't penetrate you. Do you know the programs and organizations you respect the most are the ones that seem just, that can't be penetrated? They're together. They're a group. And when bad things happen to them, they bounce right back. And you respect that. I lost so many close games that I just wanted to cry. And as a matter of fact, I did cry a few times after we lost some close games. But my point is, tomorrow is a brand new day, and the sunshine will come up. If you get out of bed, eat a good breakfast, and get on that bus. And I think the harder the loss is the night before, the more I want to make sure I get to the bus and shake some hands and say, let's go, baby. Today's the day. Today starts the day of a long winning streak, no matter what you did previous to that. It's in your attitude. All right, last thing I'm going to leave you with is go back one to the Fort Benning. I want to tell you about what I was asked to do, and I alluded to this earlier. I got a letter from the United States Army 2-star General Brito asking me to come to Fort Benning, Georgia, where the U.S. Army does their training. I've never been in the Army, I've never been in the military, and I know nothing about training United States officers. But the letter said, please come to Fort Benning and speak on leadership for our special 100-year celebration. It'll be a 1-week symposium, and we're bringing in the best leaders in the world to speak. I'm looking at this letter thinking, they got the wrong guy. So immediately I get on the phone and I call the office at Fort Benning in General Brito's office. You can't call a 2-star general, so I'm doing the chain of command. So I get to the person that assists him, and I said, this is Greg Frady. I have a letter from General Brito asking me to speak at Fort Benning. I think there is a mistake. She said, hold on, sir, I'll dispatch you to the general. I'm talking to the general. So I am on the phone. I said, General Brito, this is Greg Frady. I see here that you've written me a letter asking me to speak. I really believe that you've made a mistake here. I'm the baseball coach at Georgia State University. And he said to me, thank you for calling in, but this is the United States Army. We don't make mistakes. Okay, so immediately I'm completely on tilt now. I don't even really know what to say. And I said, well, thank you very much, sir. What is the purpose for me to come and speak there? And he said, we have so many young officers that need the information on how to handle the next generation of military person. And this is what's happening. 20 years ago, 10 years ago, the United States Army were getting 18,000 volunteers from the United States and the people that Puerto Rico and the places that support the United States Army. So the Army's position was they train hard, they have the Army values, and then they run them off as soon as possible. They just want the hardcores that want to be there. But today, only 1,800 actually volunteered to sign up for the United States Army. What a loss that is. So the general said, how are you handling, and I had gone to Fort Benning to do a couple of leadership conferences, how are you handling this? And so my speech and my basically layout of that, and if you're interested, please go to my Facebook page, scroll down, find the speech, it's there, you can watch it. But my message was basically this. You are the United States Army. And by the way, there was 500 people there. Rhonda was the only civilian, my wife was the only civilian there. There's 500 officers there, ranging from generals down to entry-level officers coming. And no matter where I went on the stage, it was like being at a tennis match. Like every eyeball went right there. Every eyeball stayed locked on. It was so intimidating of how focused they were that I've never been in an environment where people were as focused as that group was. And so here's the thing. Here was my message. Don't compromise your values. Don't compromise your training. Don't compromise those things. But now between sessions, be more communicative. Help that person feel like they're part of the United States Army or they're part of your organization. Train hard. Push hard. Expect hard. But between things, bring it back down to a human element. Treat people with dignity and respect. Carry yourself morally, ethically. Carry yourself professional. Project strength. Project confidence. You are the coach of the group that you are coaching. That has weight. that means something. The word coach means something. I was so uncomfortable the first time someone called me coach. I didn't feel like I was worthy of that title. So when someone calls you coach, it means a lot worldwide. Handle that with dignity and respect. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I hope that can help you as a coach.